Great. And I know the drill. Feel free to look at me, not the camera.
All
And
right.
first, can you please say and spell your first and last name?
Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison, Morrison, first will be Mike.
Thank you. How are you feeling about this case as we enter the second month of the search for Travis Decker?
Encouraged on the investigative side, frustrated on the search side, which I'm sure majority of the citizens here in Chelan County and statewide are as well, but we're still continuing to look for him and we won't give up.
What does the search look like now? Have you honed in on a more specific area?
No, we're continuing to search certain parts of the West Beat, which would be the Leavenworth, Lake Wenatchee area as well, and just making sure that we're doing our due diligence to follow back up in areas we have checked, following up on leads. But over the next couple of days, it'll be 4, you're going to see the National Park Service is going to be putting their swiftwater rescue team into the icicle, and we're going to check as far down as we can. The goal is to reach the Columbia River, but having been on the swiftwater rescue team myself in the past, I get that's a lofty goal, but we appreciate them being here. And then our swiftwater rescue team will also be going in here at the end of this month. So we're going to use as many resources as possible. We still have the U.S. Marshals on the ground that are following up on leads. And last week we had a search and rescue team that was going through the area of the crime scene. We had 25 members out there with U.S. Forest Service members of our agency doing a grid pattern search. And we've also deployed additional resources up into the enchantments again with the mountaineering team, and I guess into deploying cadaver dogs within the Ingalls Creek area.
Great. Just yesterday we heard about new evidence potentially leaking Travis's DNA through a bloody handprint to the crime scene. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so we're trying to get ahead of the narrative. It wasn't a bloody handprint on the back of the truck. It was a fingerprint that, of course, did have blood on it. And we were able to collect samples of that thanks to Washington State Patrol's crime lab and our detectives. And we did get samples back that matched the DNA samples that we believe belonged to Travis Decker. And as a positive match, no other evidence was found on scene to show that there was others besides Paityn, Evelyn, Olivia, and of course Travis. So we're going to continue to focus our investigative efforts and our search efforts on Travis.
Knowing what we know about his extensive training and the rest of his history as an Army Ranger, how does that impact the search effort?
Well, we feel pretty confident. We're coming in with a search and rescue team and the U.S. Marshals Service. It also has Special Forces members on their team, several of which passed the first time they went through. We like to point out that Travis did not post passing grades when he went through Ranger School, was not classified as Special Forces, but we do have Special Forces members, former, that are part of our team, part of our agency. So we feel confident that we have the right resources, individuals that are more experienced than him that are out there searching, and we'll continue to put the pressure on him, whether we find him alive or dead. We recognize there's a possibility of both.
So I'll point the question to you. Do you think Travis Decker is still alive?
I still feel there's a possibility, but certainly we recognize there's a potential that he could also be deceased. That's a large area that we could search if we get in there and he did, like let's say, fall off a cliff, succumb to injuries. Recognize that is a tall task for us to cover that much area, but we're going to continue to search. But we also recognize until he's accounted for, he's still unaccounted for, and we're going to look for him.
Could this potentially be a years-long search, months? Is there any way to put a time frame on it?
We're not sure, so it depends on how our searches go over the next couple of days, but certainly we recognize that in talking with the U.S. Marshals, reviewing other searches that were similar to ours, that there is a potential that it could go on for months, it could go on for years. I've talked about it before with the Eric Rudolph case, with the '96 Olympic bombing. That search went on for 5 years. We certainly do not want to see a 5-year search, but we get that we could be in for the long haul, and we're dedicated to making sure we see this thing through.
So with the Swiftwater rescue team, are they potentially looking specifically for a body, or just looking up and down the waterway to see if they might see him along the trail, or what's the purpose of that?
Yeah, so looking for evidence, and of course we're also looking for a body. We understand that we've had spring runoff over the last several months. The water is starting to subside. I was just out paddleboarding here a couple of days ago, and a couple of our rivers that were not navigable before are now more navigable, and so we can get our teams into the water. We feel more confident that we're going to be able to search a better area that we hadn't been able to search before. And we still have drones also checking over the rivers, so we're going to continue to do what we can, but I think it's better to have bodies in the water searching for the potential of recovering a body.
Got it. You're obviously so connected to this community. Can you speak to how this tragedy has really impacted Wenatchee and the county?
Devastated. I mean, I've talked to members of our community out in public, and certainly they've voiced their frustration with the situation. Emotions have run high, but clearly, as we talked about before, we went on camera here, and I think it's brought us closer together. We were already close. We have a lot of support from our community, but you understand we're all suffering together. Our agency's provided resources going out and providing classes in Leavenworth, Chelan, and Wenatchee here, just talking about different resources that are available for our community, ways to talk to their children about this tragedy, because a lot of the kids that we have in our community played sports with Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia, knew them personally, and I think it's been very devastating for parents to not only deal with this, but also talk to their kids about it, and the sheriff's office wants to be alongside of them. and more in line with our motto of the people, for the people.
And this must weigh heavily on the sheriff's office. I mean, what does that strain look like, and how are you offering support for
For our
officials?
deputies?
Yeah.
So we understand the weight of the case. We understand the stress that this puts not only on our detectives, but our deputies. Our detectives, of course, have been running 100 miles an hour since this case broke loose. They've been doing an excellent job doing follow-ups, processing evidence, working with our prosecutor's office to ensure the case is solid and ready to go to trial. And our deputies have also been out there still assisting, following up on leads, dealing with the 24/7 calls that come in, and what the community still expects is normal service. So, and we recognize it takes a toll. I mean, you're seeing it on a statewide level that officers who have been in law enforcement over 10 years are presumed to have PTSD, and that's a heavy weight. We recognize it as a profession. Over the last 2.5 years since I've been in office, we've invested over $4 million in behavioral health. So our behavioral health units expanded from 3 up to 6. We brought in resources for peer support, crisis intervention, stress management. Washington State Patrol provided their psychologist. We brought in a psychologist. We brought in peer support teams from King County, Bothell PD, and other agencies that volunteered. So we're making sure that we have resources on the ground to help our deputies through this. We recognize that some may be so caught up in the incident that they're not going to be able to really process this until it's passed. And we're going to make sure that those resources are available there. But I mean, we've gone through, we've been providing gym memberships, built new gyms, provided access to mental health professionals, and making sure that we have VR equipment also to help process through these things. So overall deputy health and well-being is important. We don't want them to only be successful here while they're working. We want them to have that work-life balance, and we want them to be mentally and physically prepared when they do reach that point of retirement, that they can enjoy their life after. Because they've provided so much, they've sacrificed so much, and we understand that we want them to be in the kind of condition where they can enjoy their life, not only at work, but after work.
Absolutely. How many of your deputies and detectives are on this case?
Every single detective has been doing follow-ups, assisting, putting in together. They're working daily with our U.S. Marshals Service, working with the Washington State Patrol's Crime Lab. I personally have placed several calls to Chief Paityn. I really appreciate the fact that he's picked up the phone even on weekends. And when I've asked for them to rush something through the Crime Lab, Chief Paityn has been more than willing to assist. Washington State Patrol has been a great partner in this. I really want to make sure that we're paying some respect to that. And our detectives, of course, have been pushing hard. And then our deputies are out there too. So we constantly have that 24/7, 365-day-a-year coverage. And they're answering calls, they're following up potential sightings, in addition to handling their regular workload. And that's quite a bit. And we appreciate that they've been able to take on that challenge.
Great. What would be justice in this case?
Finding him alive and putting him in front of our judges. So, I mean, our whole mission is to set up the meeting. We don't pass judgment. We just have collected the facts of the case, the evidence of the case. We've worked with our prosecutors to ensure that we have a solid case moving forward. Of course, we've been following the Moscow, Idaho case in regard to the 4 students who were slain over there, and what kind of challenges have come from that. And we recognize that we don't want to give defense counsel that kind of access to going through our case and finding weaknesses. So we want to make sure the case is solid, that of course we're doing our due diligence, being that voice for Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia, but also making sure that Travis is given a fair trial. I think it's important. He is a citizen of our county. We recognize that. He is someone's brother. He is someone's son. He was former someone's husband, and of course was formerly a father, and we recognize that all carries a great burden on him as well, and want to make sure he's treated with respect. We're not encouraging citizens to go out there hunting him on their own or wanting to do harm from him. Let the justice system do what it's supposed to do and give him his opportunity to stand in court. If we can't find him alive, of course, we'd like to recover his remains if he's deceased, just to make sure we bring closure to Whitney and her family, make sure the community also gets that kind of closure, and that Travis's family also gets it as well. Again, we recognize that at this time, he is a suspect, and he is someone that we're going after, but we're still going to treat him with respect.
Yeah, and I imagine there's obviously an emotional element when it comes to Whitney and the whole family too. Is there any message you have for the family, or how the department's feeling about kind of just helping this case come to a close and get them that closure?
We've got this side of it, and we're here for you. We're going to continue to be that sounding board if you need anything. I know Wenatchee PD really gets the credit for staying in contact with Whitney and the family, making sure they're updated on how the case is going, making sure they're talking to them about anything they need. And we're going to continue to be the other element to that is out searching for Travis, bringing closure to them. But I've talked with Whitney's father a couple times. I want to make sure I'm in close contact with him, just letting him know we have not given up. We're continuing to search, and we won't feel this is closed until he's located.
Is there anything else you want to add that I missed that's important for people to know?
Just that we've appreciated the community's support and understanding. We all understand, and I think anyone would be, I guess, misunderstood if they don't think that we wanted closure within the first week. Clearly, we recognize the frustration that we're over a month now But we haven't given up. We appreciate the community's support. We want them to continue to be vigilant, be aware that Travis is potentially still out there. He is still a danger, and that if it weren't for the media also keeping this to the forefront, we really feel like this case would have gone to the back burner. And I know several are wondering, like, okay, well, we keep doing these press releases, we're updating, but there's no new information. We are gathering information more and more every day. We're not going to release every single bit of evidence that we do have, but we're still very much in this search. We haven't given up. We feel that Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia would not allow us to give up. We know the family's not going to allow us to give up, and that's why we're here. I mean, we've taken the oath. We want to make sure we uphold our oath, and that we'll continue to ensure justice is served.
Is there anything you want people to know about what a special place Wenatchee is in that sense of community?
Chelan County is an amazing county. You can see we have some of the lowest crime rates within the state. We have some of the best officers, and that's no disrespect to anyone else. I know my brothers and sisters wearing uniforms across the state are amazing people. It is a very noble profession. I know that they represent their communities well, but of course, Chelan County has a special place in my heart. My deputies have a special place in my heart, and we have stepped up to, of course, make sure that this remains the place that everyone moved here and continues to live here. It's peaceful, and it's still a quality of life that we come to expect, and we're going to make sure that that is maintained. And we've made it very clear in the past, when you come here and you commit crimes within Chelan County, we have the resources to pursue you. We will hold you accountable, and that applies to Travis. Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia, it was a loss for the family, but it was also a loss for the community. It was a loss for the agency. It motivates us. It pushes us. I just had a painting that was delivered by an officer from Philadelphia Police Department of all three girls. It's in my office now, and it is going to be a reminder that this case is not closed, and it won't be closed until we find him. And again, I hope it's alive and that he can stand trial. But if it's deceased, I think I'm also going to be aiming for that to ensure that we bring that kind of closure for the agency. And I should reiterate, I use the term I when I know it's our deputies and our other partners that are out there in the field. I have participated a little bit in the search, but don't get any credit for that because those guys have been out there 24/7 going through the bush and climbing up mountains, and I really appreciate everything they've done for us. So we're grateful for the community, and certainly we want the family to know we haven't given up. They're very much in our minds, and we're going to continue to pursue justice.
Excellent. Those are all of our questions. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
No,
Really
thanks.
appreciate it.